Morning, students. We are in the middle of the second unit, that is jet transformations. So far, we have seen several number of problems depending upon the fundamental equations and jet transformation methods which are used to solve some quadratic equations. And also, in the previous class, we have started the inverse jet transformation methods. In the previous class, we have started the inverse jet transformation methods. And the inverse jet transformation methods are also three different types. One is the partial fraction method, second one is power series method or long division method, and the third one is residue method. Third one is residue method. Okay, these are the three different inverse jet transformation methods which are used in or nothing but applying the inverse jet transform. Okay, so far that means in the previous class we have discussed plenty problems, so many problems regarding partial fraction method. After that, we have stepped into the second method, that is the residue method. Okay, in the residue method also we have seen some of the problems. Now, now in this class we will discuss some of the problems regarding to the residue method, as well as we will move to the next step, that is nothing but next method, power series method or long division. Okay, so try to concentrate on the class. Okay, so this is the statement of the problem. Determine the inverse z transform for the function x of z is equal to z minus 2 divided by z minus 1 into z minus 4 whole square. This is the function it has given, and we have to convert this x object into x of t. That means we have to apply the inverse z transformation method for this one. So, in order to apply the inverse z transform, we are going to apply the method that is a residue method. Residue method. This residue method is very easy and simple. Why? Because there is no need of remembering about the formulas regarding to the jet transforms. Just calculating the residues and adding them depending upon the number of poles we are having. Number of poles we are having. Okay, so it is the basic advantage in case of the residue method. There is no need of remembering all the formulas regarding to the Laplace transform as well as the jet transform. Just simply calculating the residues and adding them, we can get the inverse jet transformation for this one. Not only for calculating the inverse jet transform, for applying the jet transform also the residue method is very easy and simple. Okay, now in the function which he has given, we are able to observe two different poles. That is, that pole is at 1 and pole is at 4. That means z minus 1 and z minus 4. Two different poles are there. That means the pole is going to be existing at z is equal to 1, and the order of this pole is also 1. It is not a repeated pole, it is a single pole. But whereas the z minus 4, it is of order 2. That means this pole is a repeated pole. This pole is a repeated pole. That means z is equal to 4 is the pole which is nothing but the repeated pole. So in order to calculate the residues for the repeated pole will be discussed here. So before that, first we are going to calculate the residue for the first pole, that is at z is equal to 1. So for that one, we are having the expression, that is for calculating the residue, we are having the fundamental formula, that is residue at a pole R1 is equal to limit z tends to R1 z minus R into f of z into z minus z power k minus 1. Z tends to R z minus R into f of z into z power k minus 1. So R is nothing but the pole. Here we are going to calculate the residue for the point z is equal to 1. Therefore, residue R1 is equal to limit z tends to 1. The first pole is nothing but z minus 1, and f of z value is z minus 2 divided by z minus 1 into z minus 4 whole square into z power k minus 1. So simply cancelling this particular term z minus 1 and z minus 1, and just substituting the value of z is equal to 1 in this particular expression, that is z minus 2 divided by z minus 4 whole square into z power k minus 1. So just substituting the value of z is equal to 1, we are going to get the expression, that means the residue value for the pole at z is equal to 1 is minus 1 by 9 into 1 power k minus 1. 1 power k minus 1. And this is the residue for the pole at z is equal to 1. First residue of this particular function. So later on, we are going to calculate the residue for the second pole. Here, the second pole is z at z is equal to 4, and the order of this pole is 2. That means repeated pole is going to be existing here. So in order to calculate the residue for this one, we are having a fundamental equation, that is residue, that is nothing but the second residue is equal to limit z tends to R2, limit z tends to R2. R2 is nothing but the second residue, that is 4 d power q minus 1 whole divided by dz power q minus 1. D power q minus 1 divided by dz power q minus 1 into z minus R2 whole power q into f of z into z power k minus 1, where R2 is nothing but the repeated pole and q is nothing but the order of the function, order of that particular repeated pole. R2 is nothing but the second pole, that is the repeated pole, and q is nothing but how many times the pole is going to be repeated. Here, the repeated pole is 4 and order of the repeated pole is 2. Therefore, just substituting the value of R2 and Q in this equation, we are going to get the residue R2 is equal to limit z tends to 4 d divided by dz. That is nothing but Q value is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. Therefore, dy dz of z minus R2. R2 value is nothing but the repeated pole. Repeated pole is 4. Z minus 4 whole power 2, which means the order of the repeated pole is 2. F of z. F of z value is nothing but z minus 2 divided by z minus 1 into z minus 4 whole square into z power k minus 1. So, just we are able to cancel this particular repeated pole. Z minus 4 whole square and z minus 4 whole square is going to be gets cancelled, and then we are going to get the expression, that is limit z tends to 4 d by dz of z minus 2 divided by z minus 1 into z power k minus 1. So we have to apply the differentiation for this function, and we have to apply the limit value. That means we have to substitute the z value as 4. First, initially we have to differentiate this particular expression. So this is the differentiation one, that is differentiation of this particular function. We are going to get z by z minus 2 divided by z minus 1 is going to be placed constant. Here for z power k minus 1, we are going to apply the differentiation for this one. Someone has muted, sorry, unmuted himself. request all the students mute themselves. Someone has unmuted. So I am experiencing some disturbance. Please mute yourself. Okay. Sorry for the disturbance. So applying the differentiation for this particular function, we are going to get, that means z minus 2 divided by z minus 2 is going to be placed as a similar one, and we have applied the z transformation, sorry, differentiation for the function z power k minus 1. So for that one, we are going to get k minus 1 into z power k minus 2 plus z power k minus 1 is going to be placed similarly. Here, we are able to find out the differentiation for this one is z minus 2, that is nothing but z minus 1, differentiation is nothing but minus 1 into z power z minus 2 plus 1 divided by z minus 1, that is nothing but the differentiation for this particular function. So after differentiating the function, we are just substituting the value of z is equal to 4. Z is equal to 4. So after substituting this one and after a small calculation, we are going to get the residue for the repeated code. R2 is nothing but 2 by 3 into k minus 1 into 4 power k minus 2 plus 1 by 9 into 4 power k minus 1. This is the second residue. So in order to obtain the inverse Z transform, we are having the expression that is nothing but adding of residue 1 and residue 2. Therefore, x of t or x of kt, it is not f of t, it is x of t. We are going to get r1 plus r2, r1 plus r2. That is nothing but minus 1 by 9 into k power k minus 1 plus 2 by 3 into k minus 1 into 4 power k minus 2 plus 1 by 9 into 4 power k minus 1. This is the total inverse Z transform for the given function, for the given x of z. X of z. So in this way, we are going to calculate the inverse Z transform for the function. Inverse Z transform for the function. Okay. This is the procedure which is applied for calculating the inverse. Okay. So after that, we are going to move for the next method. That is power series method or long division. Power series method or long division. So it is nothing but a simple division process for obtaining the values of z. That is nothing, sorry, values of t. That is nothing but x of 0, x of 1, x of 2 and so on. It is nothing but a simple process. Simple division process, basic division process, which is going to be happen in power series method or long division method. The name itself is going to be explained. A long division is going to be carried out. Long division. X object will be given and we are going to apply the simple division process and we are going to obtain the values of x of 0, x of 1, x of 2 and so on. Yeah? So, These are the different values we are going to obtain for x object in case of the long division method. So directly I am going to enter into the problems here. Have a glance on it. So here is the problem. Find the inverse Z transform for Z transform for f of z is equal to z square plus 2z divided by z plus 1 into z plus 2. F of z is equal to z square plus 2z divided by z plus 1 into z plus 2 by long division. By long division. So, just try to convert this expression in power of negative terms. In power of negative terms. That means just take the common value as z square and cancelling both terms, both the numerator and denominator. So just taking the common value of z square, we are going to get 1 plus 2z inverse divided by 1 plus 3z inverse plus 2z power minus 2. Taking z square in the numerator and denominator as a common one, and we are going to calculate it. So cancel it. So we are going to simply getting the final expression as 1 plus 2z inverse divided by 1 plus 3z inverse plus 2z power. This is the x object. We are going to calculate the inverse z transform using the long division. It is nothing but a simple division process. Okay. So here is the division process for this one. It is the denominator value and it is the numerator. We are going to apply the division process for this one. So initially we are going to apply the division process. So the first coefficient value is 1. That is, this particular expression has to be multiplied with 1. We are going to get 1 plus 3z inverse plus 2z power minus 1. Cancelling of this particular term, then subtracting the values, we are going to get minus z inverse minus 2z power minus z power minus 1 minus 2z power minus 1. So in order to calculate or in order to cancel this particular z power minus 1, we have to multiply this particular expression with z power minus z power minus 1. So we are going to get minus z power minus 1 minus minus 3z power minus 2 minus 2z power minus 2 z power minus 3. This is the value minus z power minus 1 minus 3z power minus 2 minus 2z power minus 2. So cancellation of this particular z power minus 1 times, we are going to get the simply the value is z power minus 2 plus 2z power minus 2. So in order to cancel the z square terms, that is nothing but z power minus 2 terms, we have to multiply this particular expression with z power minus 2. So just multiplying this particular expression with z power minus 2, we are going to get z power minus 2 minus 3z power minus 3 minus 2z power minus 2. So just calculating this particular z power minus 2 terms, we are going to get minus z power minus 3 minus 2 z power minus 4. So in order to calculate this particular z power minus 3, again we have to multiply, this particular term with z minus z power minus z power minus 3. So we are going to simply get minus z power minus 3 minus 3 z power minus 4 minus 2 z power minus 4. Okay. In this fashion, that means in this particular process, a long division is going to be calculated or obtained. A long division is going to be obtained. Okay. In this way, we are going to obtain the different coefficient values. These are the different coefficient values. Okay. These coefficient values are nothing but the x of t values or f of t values here. the function value which is given as f of z. So we are going to get the f of t values. F of t values. These coefficient values are nothing but called as the f of t. Therefore, this f of z can be represented as 1 by z power minus 1 plus z power minus 2 minus z power minus 3 plus z power minus 2. And it is going to be resembles the basic formula of z transform. The basic formula of the z transform. That is, f of z is equal to sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity f of kt into z power. So it is nothing but after expanding this value, it is going to get f of 0t plus f of 1t plus f of 2t plus f of 3. So comparing this particular equation with this particular equation, comparing this equation with this equation, we are going to get the f of 0 value is 1, f of 1 value is minus 1, f of 2 value is 1, and f of 3 value is minus 1, and f of 4 value is minus 1, and this is the process which is going to be happened for calculation of inverse Z transform in long division. Long division. This is the third method which is used for converting the f of z to f of t value or f of x of z to x of t value. Z transform to, that is nothing but x of z to x of t. We are applying the inverse z. Inverse z. Okay. So in this method also we are going to look for the second problem, that is here. Find the inverse Z transform for the function f of z is equal to 1 plus 8 Z inverse plus 12 Z power minus 2 whole divided by 1 plus 2 Z inverse plus 3 Z power minus 2. 3 Z power minus 2. Because here the function we have given itself in Z power negative terms. Z power negative terms. Therefore, applying the simple division process, we are going to get simple division process. We are going to get this long division method. So that is nothing but it is the divisor and we use the dividend value. 1 plus z 8 z inverse plus 2 z power minus 2, and this is the denominator value we are going to get. So in order to cancel the values of 1, that is the constant value, we have to multiply this particular denominator value with 1. Therefore, we are going to get the expression 1 plus 2 z inverse plus 3 z power minus 2. 1 plus 2 z inverse plus 3 z power minus 2. So just subtracting these values, we are going to get 6 z power minus 1 plus 9 z power minus 2 is the remainder value we are going to get. So in order to calculate or cancel this particular 6 z power minus 1, we have to multiply this particular expression with 6 z inverse. So just multiplying that one, 6 z inverse plus 6 2s are 12, 12 z power minus 2 plus 6 3s are 18, 18 z power. So after just subtracting, we are going to cancel the 6 z power minus 1 terms, and we are going to get the remainder value as 3 z power minus 2 minus 18 z power minus 18 z power minus. So in order to calculate this particular 3 z power minus 2, we have to multiply this particular value with 3 z power, that is minus 3 into z power minus 2. So just multiplying this particular denominator value with minus 3 z power minus 2, we are going to get minus 3 z power minus 2 minus 6 z power minus 3 minus 9 z power minus 2. So just subtracting, that means this cancelling this particular 3 z power minus 2, we are simply getting minus 12 z power minus 4 plus 9 z power, and after that we have to subtract and we have to cancel this minus 12 z power minus 3. Just the denominator value, that is the divisor value, is going to be multiplied with minus 12 z power minus 3. So after that, finally we are going to get the remainder value, that is 33 z power minus 4 plus 36 z power minus 4. This is the remainder value we are going to be obtained after some division process, and this particular division process is going to be carried out long, long, after some long process, we are going to get a zero as a remainder. So, so taking this particular coefficient values, we are going to obtain the values of above 0, above 1, above 2, above 3, and so on. So just comparing this particular coefficient value with the basic equation, we are going to get, this is the coefficient value we are going to obtain, and it is going to be compared with the basic definition regarding to the jet transform, that is f of z is equal to sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity f of kt into z power minus. So it is going to be expanded like this. So just comparing this particular f of z with this coefficient values, we are going to obtain f of 0 value is 1, f of 1 is 6, and f of 2 is 3, sorry, minus 3, and f of 3 is minus 4, and so on. Hmm? So, so in this way, we are going to obtain the f of t values using long division method. And the other name for this long division method is also called as power series method. So while coming to the exam point of view, if we suppose it to mention a particular method regarding to the inverse set transform, you have to apply this method only. Or else it has it just given the expression and we need to calculate the inverse Z transform without any mentioned method. You can use any method, any three methods which are there in our syllabus, that is partial fraction method, residual method, and long division. Whatever the method you are very familiar, you can apply. If you suppose you to mention a particular method, you have to convert that inverse Z transform in that particular method, or else you can use any type of depending upon your convenience. Depending upon your convenience, no problem. Yeah, full marks will be given for this one. Why? Because these are the problems. Total 7 marks or 14 marks will be allotted. Whatever the method you are going to be used. Whatever the method you are going to be. Okay. So this is about the long division method. That means so far we have covered the inverse Z transform based upon the partial fraction method, residual method, and long division. These are the three methods we are going to be tapping. Okay. Now we are going to step into the next topic. Next topic, it is theorems of Z transform. Theorems of Z transform, or simply it is also called as the properties of the Z transform. Properties of the Z transform. Okay. So we are having different properties regarding to this one, that is theorems for Z transform. The first property or the first theorem is addition and subtraction, multiplication by a constant, complex translational theorem, initial value theorem, final value theorem, shifting property or shifting theorem, convolution theorem, and partial differentiation theorem. While observing or while going through the previous university question paper, this particular question is very, very important. This particular question is very, very important. Why? Because this question is asked repeatedly. This question is asked repeatedly for 7 minutes. For 7 minutes. So while doing the problems in second unit or writing any theorems regarding to the second unit, total marks will be allotted. It is a scoring unit in your BCS. Why? Because I am saying it is a scoring unit because this jet transform is very familiar to you. Why? Because it is already studied by you in signals and systems of your second year second semester or third year first semester itself. Okay? All the topics which are going to be covered in unit 2 are very, very familiar to you. So for that reason only I am just telling that this particular jet transformation unit is very much scoring unit for you. Okay, all the topics are very familiar to you already, well known and studied by you in your previous semester examination. The same thing is going to be happen, but Just replacing the t with k. Replacing the small t function with k. Okay. So now we are going to enter into the theorems of the Z transform. The first theorem is addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction. So coming to the statement of this particular property, statement of this particular property, that is, if if f1 of t and f2 of t here, if f1 of t and f2 of t are the two functions of the Z transforms, are the two functions, we are going to apply. That means the Z transform for these functions f1 of t and f2 of t are supposed to be f1 of z and f2 of z respectively. Then the Z transform of the function f1 of t plus or minus f2 of t is nothing but f1 of z plus or minus f2 of z. Okay? If f1 of t and f2 of t are the two functions, and we are going to apply the Z transform for this function, we are going to get the supposed Z transforms are f1 of z and f2 of z. Then the summing or subtracting values of f1 of t plus or minus f2 of t is nothing but f1 of z plus or minus. So coming for the proof, we are going to get f1 of z is nothing but the z transform of f1 of t. It is nothing but sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity. Sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity. f1 of kt into z power minus f1 of kt into z power minus. In the similar fashion, f2 of z is nothing but z transform of f2 of t. That is nothing but sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity f2 of kt into z power f2 of kt into z power minus. So therefore, Z transformation for this particular function f1 of t plus or minus f2 of t is equal to sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity f1 of kt plus f2 of kt into z power minus k. So it is nothing but a summing one. That is nothing but it is going to be separated respectively. It is going to be separated respectively. Therefore, can be written or rewritten as sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity f1 of kt into the power minus k plus or minus sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity f2 of kt into the power minus k. So this particular expression is going to be represented as f1 of z here. Therefore, it can be written as f1 of z plus or minus, and this particular function is also nothing but this one f2 of z, f2 of z. Therefore, it can be written as f1 of z plus or minus f2 of z. Therefore, finally, we are going to get the z transformation of the function f1 of t plus or minus f2 of t is nothing but f1 of z plus or minus f2 of z. F1 of z plus or minus f2 of z. So this is the first theorem or first property regarding to the Z transformation, that is addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction. So the time is about to close. So we will discuss the remaining properties or theorems in the next class. Okay, try to concentrate on the online classes, because due to this pandemic situation, all the students regarding the final year, third year and second year students, all the classes are going to be conducted through online mode itself. Online mode itself. So try to concentrate on the online lectures and support to the faculty members in order to complete the syllabus. Okay. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.